In late 2025, the University of Oklahoma unexpectedly became the epicenter of a heated national debate, drawing attention from media outlets and advocacy groups across the country. It all started when a student received a 0 on her essay for expressing her Christian perspective, a decision that quickly ignited passionate responses from both students and faculty. The teaching assistant who graded the paper was swiftly removed from their position, followed soon after by the professor in charge of the course, signaling the administration's urgent response. Protests and counter-protests erupted almost overnight, thrusting the Norman campus into the national spotlight and turning it into a battleground for competing values. The incident began in a lifespan development class with student Samantha Fulnecki and teaching assistant William Mel Kurth, whose grading decision would soon have far-reaching consequences. The grading dispute quickly escalated, leading to Kurth's administrative leave and sparking a wave of student protests that spread across campus. Professor Kelly Alvarez was then accused of discriminating against a student who wanted to counter-protest, resulting in her removal as well, and further intensifying the controversy. The controversy was no longer just about a grade, it became a battle over academic freedom, religious expression, and the very definition of fairness in education. Some saw it as an attack on free speech and religious freedom. Others argued for upholding academic standards in a science-based course, highlighting the deep divisions on campus. The university's swift removal of both the TA and professor only fueled the debate, with critics and supporters both questioning the administration's motives. Each action taken seemed to deepen the controversy, making the campus a microcosm of national cultural tensions and ideological divides. The administration's efforts to restore order only raised more questions about the role of personal belief in public education, and whether true neutrality is even possible. The OU controversy forced students, faculty, and administrators to confront the boundaries between personal conviction and academic rigor, challenging long-held assumptions. The story became a flashpoint for larger conversations about free expression, fairness, and the future of higher education in a rapidly changing society. Several key individuals played pivotal roles in shaping the unfolding events at OU, each bringing their own perspectives and motivations to the controversy. Samantha Fulnecki, a junior at the university, wrote the essay that ignited the controversy, passionately arguing from her Christian faith and challenging prevailing academic norms. As the debate grew, she became a symbol for those who feel traditional viewpoints are increasingly marginalized in academia, drawing both support and criticism from across the campus. William Mel Kurth, the teaching assistant who graded the essay with a 0, defended the decision as upholding scientific standards and academic rigor, sparking heated discussions about grading fairness. Kurth's removal from their position made them a figurehead for academic freedom and the rights of educators to maintain standards, while also raising questions about due process. Professor Kelly Alvarez, initially in the background, became central after being accused of discriminating against a student seeking to counter-protest, highlighting the complexities of faculty roles in student activism. Her removal from the university added further complexity to the administration's position and fueled ongoing debate about fairness and accountability. Caleb Magana, president of OU's Turning Point USA chapter, brought renewed attention to the issue of equal treatment after his request for an excused absence to counter-protest was denied, amplifying student voices. Magana's experience shifted the debate from grading disputes to broader questions of fairness and consistency in university policy, sparking campus-wide conversations. Together, these figures ensured the story evolved from a single grading dispute into a far-reaching examination of fairness, free expression, and the values that shape campus life at OU. The assignment seemed simple at first glance, a typical college exercise that asked students to engage critically with a scholarly text. The prompt was clear: respond to a scholarly article on gender norms, analyzing its arguments and offering your own perspective. Samantha Fulnecki chose to write her response from a Christian perspective, arguing that non-binary gender concepts were not only harmful, but also unbiblical, and that traditional gender roles were rooted in her faith. She cited passages from the Bible and advocated for traditional gender norms, making her religious beliefs the foundation of her argument and weaving scripture throughout her essay. When her essay was returned, it had received a 0. The feedback from teaching assistant William Mel Kurth stated that it failed to meet the assignment's requirements. Kurth argued that the paper didn't answer the prompt as intended, contradicted itself in several places, and relied too heavily on personal ideology rather than academic evidence. The feedback also noted that the essay was, at times, offensive to some readers, and lacked the kind of empirical support expected in a scientific course rather than a theological one. For Fulnecki and her supporters, the 0 was seen not just as a poor grade, but as punishment for expressing her Christian viewpoint in an academic setting. They argued that she had fulfilled the assignment's core requirement, providing a genuine reaction to the article, even if her perspective was rooted in faith. The dispute quickly escalated, shifting from a disagreement over a grade to a broader battle over the right to express religious convictions and personal beliefs in a public university environment. The controversy exposed deep divisions on campus over what counts as valid academic expression and whether faith-based arguments have a place in scientific discourse. In the end, the grade became a symbol in a much larger fight, one that pitted faith, science, and free speech against each other in the heart of the university. The grading rubric became the focal point in determining whether Fulnecki's 0 was justified. The rubric outlined 3 criteria: tie-in to the article, a thoughtful reaction, and clear writing. None required empirical evidence. Fulnecki's supporters argued she met the rubric's requirements by responding thoughtfully, even if from a faith-based perspective. They claimed penalizing her for not using scientific evidence imposed an unstated standard. The absence of a requirement for empirical evidence in the rubric fueled allegations of viewpoint discrimination. Kurth's justification for the grade, lack of evidence in a science class, clashed with the rubric's actual language. The debate centered on whether scientific evidence was an implicit expectation or if the rubric was the final authority. This ambiguity allowed both sides to claim legitimacy. The controversy highlighted the need for clear, transparent grading standards. The rubric's vagueness became a battleground for larger ideological disputes. William Mel Kurth defended the 0 grade as a matter of academic rigor, not religious bias. Kurth argued the essay failed to engage with the article and relied on personal ideology instead of evidence. The feedback referenced scientific consensus on gender, emphasizing the expectation for evidence-based arguments in a social science course. Kurth insisted the grade was about meeting academic standards, not silencing religious views. Despite this defense, the university swiftly placed Kurth on administrative leave after public outcry. Some saw this as necessary to address possible discrimination, others viewed it as undermining academic freedom. The removal sent a message about the university's priorities, and sparked further debate. The controversy over Kurth's removal became a rallying point for both sides. The university's action deepened the divide over academic freedom and student rights. Kurth's removal sparked student protests in support of academic standards. A counter-protest formed, led by Caleb Magana, to support Fulnecki and advocate for religious expression. The situation escalated when Professor Alvarez offered excused absences for the pro-Kurth protest but denied the same for the counter-protest. Magana was told he needed to organize a formal group before being excused, raising accusations of viewpoint discrimination. Alvarez's actions shifted the controversy from grading to faculty bias. The incident highlighted concerns about equal treatment and instructor neutrality. The campus became a battleground for competing ideologies. The focus moved beyond grades to the broader issue of fairness in campus activism. The university responded decisively to the escalating crisis. OU publicly condemned Professor Alvarez's actions regarding protest absences, calling them inappropriate and wrong. Alvarez was removed from her teaching role, and a new policy granted excused absences for all protest activities, regardless of viewpoint. The administration emphasized that classrooms are for teaching students how to think, not what to think. Both Kurth and Alvarez were removed to uphold the university's commitment to fairness. The university aimed to restore neutrality and de-escalate tensions. The response was a clear signal that discrimination, religious or political, would not be tolerated. OU's actions were designed to reassure the campus and the public of its core values. Student voices shaped the public narrative throughout the controversy. Fulnecki maintained she was penalized for her Christian faith, seeing the university's actions as a victory for religious freedom. Supporters of Kurth argued the issue was about academic standards, not religion, and saw Kurth's removal as a threat to academic rigor. For them, the protest was about defending the integrity of their education. Caleb Magana's experience with Alvarez shifted the debate to equal treatment, highlighting concerns about faculty bias. He argued that professors should not use their authority to favor one side of a debate. The university, through official statements, tried to project neutrality and fairness. OU reiterated its commitment to respect, dignity, and open inquiry for all students. The administration emphasized that classrooms must remain places of equitable treatment, regardless of belief. The official perspective aimed to rise above the fray and reinforce the institution's guiding principles. The OU controversy is a case study in the challenges facing higher education. The core issue, balancing academic freedom with viewpoint neutrality and student expression. Instructors must uphold rigorous standards, but students should feel safe expressing their beliefs. The ambiguity in assignment guidelines and rubrics can lead to conflict and accusations of bias. The university's actions, removing both the TA and professor, were attempts to enforce fairness, but drew criticism from all sides. Some saw it as failing to defend academic freedom, others as necessary to protect students from discrimination. The controversy highlights the need for clearer policies and better training on sensitive topics. Universities must foster environments that are both rigorous and inclusive of diverse worldviews. The challenge is ensuring the pursuit of knowledge does not come at the cost of individual freedom of belief.